Hello again, it's a Friday, so that means it's Friday ParaVlog time again. Now, if you've only just stumbled across these ParaVlogs, then you might be wondering what they are, or if you're a regular viewer, you might know what they are, or you might just be thinking, what the heck is she doing those for? Well, I thought today I'd tell you why and just share some of my past personal experiences and why I do this. Basically, the paranormal is something which has interested me since as young as I can remember. I've always been fascinated with it, always. I suppose the first thing that triggered my curiosity off with regards to death and where we go and stuff like that and what happens to us would have been when I was 5 years old, when my granddad died. I didn't quite understand it. I didn't understand why he had suddenly disappeared. You know, it was kind of like a shock. Suddenly you got this man in your life, then all of a sudden he's not there, he's gone. And then later on I became fascinated with ghosts, and we used to have a haunted old manor up the road from us, and our school at the time, the primary school, did a trip to this haunted manor, and we had a ghost tour of this house. So that kind of then moved sort of things on with my fascination with it, and I've always loved anything to do with paranormal, even UFOs, you name it. I love it. And things to do with space as well. I've always been interested in that. But getting back to the point, why do I do these? Well, it's important to me that I have a recording of what I'm doing, because I actually physically started investigating the paranormal properly at the start of 2013. And as time has gone on, I've progressed onto making documentary productions of these various different haunted locations we visit and putting them into a full documentary to watch back. It's important to me that we get all these experiences on camera, because when you open yourself up to the unknown, like we do as paranormal investigators, it can be very, very scary, because you never quite know what you're dealing with. And this is one of the reasons why I want a log of everything I'm doing on camera, kind of like something to look back at, to kind of make sense of things for future reference points, which has been the case and always will be the case, I think, because this is a never-ending learning journey. So yeah, with regard to my personal experiences, in all the homes I've lived in, I've had various different experiences. Going back to the first home I lived in with my husband and my young lad at the time, we had quite a few experiences in one particular home. That being, we used to have a TV cabinet and keep all of our video cassettes neatly stored in this TV unit. And my little boy used to have his videos in there, like his Postman Pat and Fireman Sam and stuff like that. And on a few occasions, these videos would be all strewn over the floor, and I always put it down to him getting them out and putting them on the floor. But this one particular day, he'd got all these videos out, and I was like, come on, let's put them back. And we tidied them away and put them away. And we then went into the kitchen, and he was playing in the kitchen and I was doing whatever I was doing. I think I was tidying the sides. When we went back into the room, the videos were all strewn over the floor again, and I couldn't explain that. And he said he didn't do that, because I was thinking perhaps he went back in there and I didn't notice or something, and he did it. But he said he didn't. He was about three at the time, I believe, because I think I was pregnant with my next child. And yeah, so I couldn't explain that. Another thing that happened there was this face. Over time, this dust appeared on the wall near our bed in the bedroom, and this face appeared in the dust, and it looked like a grumpy old man, and that was quite weird. And another time I was in the kitchen washing up and I heard the back door open and close, and I thought my husband was home, and I suddenly felt somebody pinch my bum, and I thought it was my husband, and I turned around to have a look and nobody was there. My husband hadn't even come home and opened the door. Nobody had opened the door, so that was another thing that was pretty unexplained. Anyway, from there we then moved to another home, and that particular home, overall I lived there for about 9-10 years, and we had lots of experiences there. Not so much with my husband, because we split up about half a year after living there, unfortunately. But actually, which brings me back to the previous people that had lived there. The family before us, they had split up, their marriage split up, and the family before that, their marriage had split up as well. So that was kind of weird anyway. And then me and my husband split up, and we had 3 children at the time, but we split up, and that was that. But basically I stayed living there with my 3 children, and over the years we had various different experiences. That being, the TV would sometimes switch itself on in the middle of the night. I used to put it down to some sort of a technical glitch with it. The hi-fi, which was like a music system thing, that would, I'd turn it on while I was doing my housework, and then all of a sudden that would turn itself up full pelt, full volume, and that used to have like a little turning knob for the volume at the time, and that would suddenly turn itself all the way up, and I'd have to go rushing in and switch the whole thing off, which was quite annoying actually. Again, I used to put that down to a technical glitch with the system. But then later on, when my 2 youngest children at that time were aged 2 and 3, it was 7 o'clock in the morning. They'd sneaked downstairs to try and get themselves a drink while I was still in bed, and they'd come running up the stairs in floods of tears, screaming, "Mummy, mummy, mummy, there's a monster down there," and saying that there was a monster at the bottom of the stairs. With that, I then went downstairs thinking there's somebody in the house, there's got to be, and there was nothing there. All the doors were still locked and closed, and there was no sign that anybody had been there. So I then calmed my children down and said, "Come on, there's nothing here, it's all right, it's all right." And later on that day got them to do a drawing each of what they saw, and they said that they'd seen this really tall thing, as tall as the ceiling, hairy. It made me think of Monsters Inc. at that time, because they were into Monsters Inc. anyway, and I thought they're making it up, but they weren't making it up, because they were actually proper crying, and their drawings they did were very similar. And to this day, they're in their teens now, and to this day they still recall what they saw, and they swear that they saw this thing at the bottom of the stairs. I did actually investigate that house before I got rid of it, and what I did find is that in the area where they had seen this thing that had a high EMF reading, there was something in the floors, an electrical point or something, which gave off near the ceiling light a very high EMF reading. So whether that could contribute to a hallucination or not, I don't know, but it can't explain them both seeing the same thing, so that's kind of weird. Another thing at that house, which kind of then got me into the whole getting out there and investigating this phenomena, was basically on this particular night I was living with my partner. I had a partner, and he'd been living with us for quite a while, and I woke up and saw this tall dark figure at the end of my bed, and it was over 6 foot tall easily, and it was really dark, black mass, no mistaking it. And I screamed, and I switched the bedside lamp on, and it just completely dissipated into thin air. I thought, right, I was having a bad dream, a nightmare, woke up hallucinating, whatever, and that was that. And then a few weeks later, the same thing appeared at the end of my bed again, but slightly further forward, and I think the bedroom door had come open as well. Again, I did the same thing, switched the lamp on, and this thing just completely disappeared. And I shook my partner up again because I'd screamed again, and then that was that. And to me, I thought, oh, I'm seeing stuff, you know, it's not really there, as you do. And then a few weeks later, again, this thing appeared again, but this time it was quite disturbing. I woke up feeling this thing hitting into my legs and seeing this thing hitting my legs. I thought somebody had broken into the home and was attacking us. My partner woke up. He then started lashing out and hitting this thing, physically punching this thing, and I turned my bedroom lamp on again, and again this thing completely dissipated and disappeared under the bed. And the room was icy cold, and I mean to the point of cold where you can see your breath physically coming out of your mouth. It was horrible, and I asked him, what did you see? And he described exactly what I had seen, and he was as shook up as me, and we couldn't sleep very well for the rest of the night. We had to go downstairs and have a cup of tea and calm down, and then when we went back to bed we had the light on for the rest of the night, and I had to sleep with the light on for the next few weeks after that, because it really did petrify us. And at that time, that made me think, right, I need some help here. I need somebody who can clarify what we've seen and get rid of this thing, because we don't want it in the house. And there was nobody to go to at that time. Nobody I knew, no paranormal investigators or ghost groups out there that I knew of. The only thing I thought of was possibly the church, going to them, seeing if somebody could help me there. But I wasn't a church goer, so I didn't go down that avenue. So what I did do was research on the internet, and I come across some of these various different rituals, what to do and perform in your home to get rid of these negative entities, and I did that. I did a salt cleansing, and I waited until all the children were at school and my partner was at work, and I did it on my own at home. And I felt really silly, but nobody was there, and I thought, well, what's worse, having this thing in our house haunting us, or me just feeling a bit silly trying to get rid of it? And I did it, and almost instantly you could feel the airlift. It was like the atmosphere changed in that house, and it just felt light and airy and breezy. And we never saw it again, never appeared again, thank goodness. And that was that. And then a couple of years later, I decided I'd get a bit active and go out there seeking my own answers, to find out what these things are, why do they come to us, why do they appear, and how do they appear. And I've got a few different theories as to what these different things are, because I believe there's lots of different things, and that they appear for different reasons. I have since then seen a lot of things, not particularly out on location at these locations that we investigate, but more so in my own home. One being, we years ago in 2013 we investigated RAF Colby in Lincolnshire, and I'd been going through some EVPs and picked up the voice of a woman who didn't sound too nice at all. And in that week I woke up and I saw this woman's head beside my bed, and she was as clear as anything. She was black and white, she wasn't in colour, but she was very defined, and she had her hair all pinned up, kind of like in a roll at the back of her head, kind of like that, with a kind of a fringe, and she had like a World War II hat on, like the women in the WAF would have worn. I think it's called the WAF. And she was wearing lots of makeup. She was very, very pretty, but she was glaring at me, and she was smiling, and it was a mocking, nasty kind of a smile. It wasn't very nice, and that was that. Never saw her again, couldn't explain it, but to me that was like, whoa, is this the woman whose voice I'd picked up on EVP? I don't know. Again, part of you thinks, is it my imagination? Am I hallucinating? Am I dreaming? I know I'm not dreaming because I'm awake when I see these things, but that's just another one. I've seen a little girl. I've seen a little Victorian boy appear. I've seen some stuff on location. I've seen a dark tall shadow man at one location, which I believe I captured on camera. I've seen like a big glowy ball of light which just ran away from us. And that was another occasion that wasn't, I don't think that thing was very nice. Even though it was like a glowy ball of light, I think it was something quite nasty, because some of the people I was with were having a negative effect on them at the time, and our K2 meters were going absolutely crazy. And the air, again, you could feel it. It was like you could penetrate the air with your hands. It was that thick and dense, and there was a putrid smell. It was disgusting. Everybody smelt it, and nobody had let off wind. And I just did these things, these chants and things that we do to try and get rid of nasty things, and this was when I saw this thing go darting off, running off, and that's when the air cleared. Everybody was fine then, and the smell went as well, so that was weird. Other things I've seen, recently I've seen something that wasn't very nice at all, and I don't want to see it again. Basically, I was getting ready for bed in my bedroom, and I thought my little boy had crossed the landing, walked across the landing, and was hiding behind the door getting ready to jump out on me. So I then went to peep around to frighten him first, and he wasn't there. There was nobody there. He wasn't anywhere in that area where I saw this figure go. And I can't explain it. But what did happen that particular night was I went to sleep, and I woke up and I saw this thing, and it was the same height, and it had piercing, glowing, reddy orange coloured eyes, and it was looking straight at me, and it was not very nice at all, and I don't wish to see that again. But the questions I ask now as an investigator is, once you open yourself up to these things, because when you investigate, you're opening yourself up, you're saying, hey, come and talk with me, come and communicate with me. Do these things then start getting familiar with you? Do they then come to you? I believe that they do, because I tend to see things more after investigations than what I do at the particular time. And it's usually through the analysation process of going through all our footage and listening to all of the things our devices have picked up. It's usually around those sort of times that I tend to see these things. So yeah, so that's that. If you're an investigator, or if you see things or anything, I'd love to hear what you see and what you've picked up on, and your beliefs and things with the whole phenomena side of it. So yeah, but yeah, that's it for now. So this weekend we're investigating again and doing another production. Next weekend we're also doing another production, so busy times, and then that'll be that until around about December, I believe, as I can't do any more until then. But yeah, so 2 more productions coming up, and that's about it for now. Please do comment. I'd love to see people's comments, because not many people comment on these videos. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. And yeah, get interactive, because this is something that lots of people are interested in, and I love to hear other people's things that they're up to and what they've experienced as well. So yeah, that's it for now, I think. So yeah, until the next, bye for now.